Back in the days when the Industrial Revolution just, got cranking and young men were sent out, particularly in Australia. If you want to have land for yourself, you got to just clear fell it and then it can be yours. And you can see the enormous trees that are no longer with us in our ecosystems because this was all turned into timber. This was all turned to fuel the Industrial Revolution one way or the other. And that led into materialistic orientations and a consumer society. And it's actually quite beautiful to look at human ecology through time over the past 200 years through the syntropic lens. Because one of the things that I've really found that syntropy has really helped me get out of is judgment. And be in acceptance, just like life is based on unconditional love. It's being in acceptance of what is. And when we look at the past, for us, we may sometimes feel like, well, I can't believe that we did that. But we did that. And what it was really doing, it was also performing a function with purpose. And we can just question the function. And usually you can only apply that function really on your own self. That you realize, well, I have real judgment on that. And the question is, do you want to be in judgment? Or do you want to be where we are today, in the present moment, and use all that wasteful, quote-unquote, navigation that you can observe when you look back into the past? Do you want to use that as good compost and as good inspiration? Because it's a stark contrast. If you see, that looks like a garden bed. But that's not a garden bed. That is a aerial photo of a Brazilian landscape that has just been stripped down. And what happened with all those little sticks you see there, they got turned into this. And so the syntropic orientation allows you to also look back in time and see that, we did things that could be considered not so wise. But there also have been the underpinning and the previous successions of where we are now within ourselves on the earth, and we can dream wisely again. And what better way to look at what not to do in order to focus ourselves on what to do? Because this was all short-term gain. This was, it has really gotten us to where we are today. And as you can see in the picture, it's still ongoing. 2014. This hasn't necessarily slowed down. You can see, however, that the trunks have become a little bit thinner. So what is syntropy and syntropic agroforestry? Well, it comes from the Greek word syn, which is together, and tropos, which is a tendency of navigating together. It came out very late in 1941 as the tendency of life or energy to concentrate itself to create higher levels of order and organization. It is also known as negentropy or anti-entropy, but I don't really like to relate to life in a way that you say, well, it's not that. Because then you're not saying what it is. And what the syntropic orientation is so much about is relanguaging, reallocating and naming principles and observable strategies so that we can actually have a relationship with those living strategies as part of the metric that we are observing, as opposed to not really having any language at all. So a lot of the introduction to syntropic relating to life is really very much about coming into a new adaptation of languaging processes, languaging relating from ourselves to our gardens, and it can extend into far further regions, into human ecology.